Nerd Reactor, roll out.
Great, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. So you've been in a lot of just crazy projects, Game of Thrones and Fast and Furious stuff. But this one, you're the lead, and it's going to get crazy because you're in it. You're doing a lot of action. What is that like stepping it up?
It's been amazing. I love a challenge. I'm one of those people that's like, if it's not hard, like, is it like worth doing a little bit? That's kind of how I choose my projects as well. I'm like, this should feel like a challenge and feel like I've got a mountain to climb, and I'm like going to train and work really hard to get to the top. And like that's how I felt when I took on this project. I knew I had to dedicate myself to training. I knew I had to, practice and practice and practice, learn all the disciplines, and it's been an amazing experience. And I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of all the work we've done, and the fact that it's John Woo directing the action movie, he's like the master, so I feel very proud.
The killer action, because you've been in a lot of action movies.
Yes,
and
yeah.
Yeah. So what makes this one this one cool, like cooler than cool?
A lot. John Woo, especially John Woo, the director first, and remaking a classic of him, like himself, The Killer, the original. So we remaking that in Paris with like the killer, just Nathalie. She is the killer. She killed it. She is amazing. She just seeing her with the two guns with all the typical John Woo shot with her is just so special that the movie is cooler than everything.
Oh yeah, and because you've been in like on action movies, so let's say anything like in this one where like this is a really cool scene. I want everybody to see this.
But there is again the typical John Woo style that there is a moment that we like each other and pointing to each other, and like the bad guys coming around, and we just like going around and go kill the guys and come back to our face to face. It's like the iconic shot like in Face Off. So we had on this movie. So
and then there's a lot of slow mo scenes, dub,
slow mo, doves and birds.
Yes,
all of that. We have everything.
Okay, so The Killer, action movies. You guys done action movies before, right? And so what makes this one challenging compared to previous action movies or shows?
I mean, challenge. I mean, it was a fun movie to work on. It was. John Woo really embraces being creative and doing things originally. So I'm all about that, and we've been working together for a long time. So this is just a natural collaboration for us.
Yeah, and it's also extremely evocative. I mean, it is an action picture, but it's also something that's full of emotion and full of, from my point of view, full of really poetic imagery.
About 15 years ago or so, we started developing this remake of his movie. And at the time, he didn't want to direct it. Why should he? He's already made it. But through the process, the writer was talking to me and said, what if we flipped this and we made this a woman? And when we pitched that to John thought, I have not made that movie before. That's the one I want to do. And we couldn't have picked a better project because the original film is based on a French film, Le Samurai, and this is really his love letter to French cinema. So to be able to kind of come full circle and shoot this in Paris with a female lead, it couldn't be a more elegant return of this movie. Well, I would say it's a very different kind of character. I think you're still going to see that regal quality that you get from Chow Yun-fat, but in a very different take. I think you're going to see action you haven't seen before from John, a different kind of style. And I think he really nailed it with reimagining a project and not just doing a remake.
All right, so Alex, The Killer, John Woo.
Yes, sir.
You got to tell me like your background history on John Woo stuff, and then fast forward to today, like almost like.
Well, the funny thing is, I go back with John Woo to Wind Talkers. Okay, so I was at MGM when that movie got made, so I actually had an experience with John Woo then as an executive, and now to sort of, fast forward to today, we get a chance to get involved in him remaking, what many believe to be a classic film, right? The original Killer, the 1989 version with Chow Yun-fat, which is fantastic. I mean, there's so much about who John is and what he's invented and created in the action movie genre, right? That is constantly imitated, paid homage to. You know, it's there's so many. You talk to action directors and ask them who their reference points are, they'll tell you it's John Woo. And they'll name scenes and things and slow-mo cameras and bullet action and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty amazing. So just seeing him in his element, sort of reinterpreting something.